Hello and welcome to another episode of the Danielle K Show. We are live here in my home. We have a familiar guest. She was actually on the Date Your Wife podcast with her husband, Teresa Lolly. Welcome to my home, and it's so good to see you again.
Yes,
I feel like every time I'm with you, like we could just go on and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So I was like, let's get the podcast going. And if you guys don't know Teresa, she's amazing. She has 2 kids. She's married. She's an entrepreneur. She's doing it all. And she's like one of those women that I wanted to have on my show because although doing it all looks pretty on Instagram, there's a lot more behind the scenes to the success that you don't see. Mm-hmm. And so I really want to start with your story and kind of go back to you're not originally from here. You're from Armenia, correct?
Yeah.
When did you move here?
Hey you guys, it's Danielle K. White. Welcome to the Danielle K. White Show. On this podcast, what you can expect is anything from fashion, fitness, hair, and yes, even family. I'm the creator of Natural Vita Real Hair Extensions and Isla Hand-Tied Hair. But what I'm really passionate about is sharing other people's stories, how they went from the pit to the peak, how entrepreneurs build the success that you see online today. So definitely tune into this podcast for a good story and a little bit of fashion and a little bit of hair and beauty mixed in.
So born and raised in Armenia, I was 20 years old when I moved here.
Okay.
So 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Now you can do
What made you move here?
So I moved 2007.
Okay.
What made me move here was my sister, actually, my older sister. She wanted to come here and get a job so she can put that down on her resume, come back to Armenia to get a better job.
Okay.
Because we were both going to the Yerevan State University, the economic department, and we were going to go that career route.
Okay.
I was more of the artist in the family, so I was always doing something like competitions or stage performances.
Okay.
I was in Armenian Idol, like anytime there was an opportunity. Yeah. I was a third place ping pong champion when I was 10 years old, competitive swimmer, competitive Latin ballroom dancer, and concert pianist, like anything that was artsy and sportsy and doing it, right? I was just always doing something. But my sister fell in love with the United States and the idea of like the glass windows and the paradise of the United States. Let's just go. And my mother was not going to let her go on her own. So she said the only way it's we apply, you get your green card, both of you guys go in for whatever 6 months or a year, get your experience. Because if you put a job experience in the United States, then you come back, you're getting paid like 5 times more in Armenia.
Okay.
So it was going to be that. But we came here and we never went back.
Yeah.
We fell in love with the opportunities.
Are your parents still back there?
So they come and go. My mom more often because she loves coming in, watching the babies and making course corrections. My mom is very hands-on.
Yeah.
My dad is more of like the stable Armenian. I'm going to keep my flag here and drag you guys back because if I come to the States, they all have their green cards.
Yeah.
But my dad is like, it doesn't make sense for me. I'm a respected professor here.
Right.
I'm established. And if I come, we cut the roots here. And you guys will never find the purpose to come back to your country.
Right.
He's very, very patriotic. And he raised us like that.
It sounds like, you were always like a super producer.
You know
it sounds like you had that drive at a young age. Was it how you were raised or?
I think so. Like when I look at my sister too, she's cut from the same cloth,
Brilliant.
Also very driven. And I think, and the secret is we never had screen time. We actually couldn't afford it because we had just broke off from the Soviet Union in 1990 and we had no electricity, no television.
So you needed hobbies.
We needed hobbies to like survive. I remember like winter, cold, my mom would just throw us out and be like, play until late night. Because if you're home, you're going to be freezing. We had no heat.
Oh, wow.
So being outdoors, being constantly in do mode and have fun and produce and create, that was life. That was the regular life for us.
When you moved here, because I know when you met your husband, you were in music, right?
Yeah.
So were you a singer-songwriter?
Absolutely. So when I came here, first I went to college because that was my promise to my parents. I went and got my summa cum laude accounting degree because, that's respected and that promises a career, some sort of a steady career. So I got the offer from Deloitte & Touche and that was like this moment. You know how your life comes to these moments and when you look back and you're like, wow, like had I made this choice, my life would have gone this route. So at that moment, I really sat and thought to myself, like, I'm in this country I stayed. I didn't go back, not to be in an office job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to create and be who I really want to be, which is be in front of the camera and produce and be in the entertainment industry in one way or another. So to me, first, I thought I want to be an actor, right? Like, again, you don't know what you really, really made
till you get into it.
So I went into acting full force, and I was in Philadelphia. It was a very big independent market. So I got into plenty of movies. The one that I could remember was 6 Degrees of Hell with Corey Feldman. I was a supporting actor.
Oh, really?
And it ended up on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
But I did realize that I was being typecast because I had an accent. I have a specific look, and I was always the girl that would die first in movies.
Oh,
and I was always getting into horror movies.
Yeah.
Or it was a kissing scene of some sort, which I totally, every single time they booked me for a job like that, I would turn that down. Because I'm Armenian. Like, you don't just kiss somebody that's not your husband.
Yeah.
So then I realized I probably don't have a future in this acting world if I'm going to get typecast in movies that I don't like. The narratives are narratives that I don't like, and I'm going to reject roles that include kissing. It's like, there's no future in this. And if I'm not going to go all out and go to the top, I might as well not waste my time. So I switched gears to singing because that was my other passion. I was like, okay, I'm going to do singing. This is America. This is, the world of opportunities. I can do this because I have the freedom to do that. So I moved to New York, and I started working with a producer. And soon enough, I created my album. And this felt more empowering because I get to write my own narratives, my own songs, my own vocals, my own melodies, my own piano riffs. Like, everything was me with my taste. And it really got to a point where I got the attention of Warner Brothers, and I had a meeting with them. I was talking to the vice president, and that was the time when I met Anthony. So it was, again, one of those moments where I had a concert, and I had formed a female pop rock band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a 5 female pop rock band, and I had, a girl drummer from Russia, and I had a North Korean bass player.
What year was that? How long was that?
This was 2012.
Okay. I was like, were girl pop bands big then?
It wasn't, in fact. But my producer was like, we can bring it back. And pop rock has not really been hot. But you guys have the look, and the all-female pop rock concept has not really been hot lately. So this could just be kind of revived. So it was a very good angle. And we were getting ready for our live shows, and all of a sudden, my violinist quit. Like a week before our first show. So I was at the Sheraton Hotel lobby in Manhattan hosting, auditions for new violinists. And that's how I met Anthony. Anthony was on.
Oh, that's right. You told us the story. You were interviewing new people, and he comes over and is like, hey.
So he was actually having his own meeting with a private equity partner, whatever. And they were talking about royalties. And he's very loud and passionate when he talks. And I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are probably in the music industry. I got to introduce myself. Yeah. So that's how we met. And I was due to film my music video. So that was like the first thing that I told him. I was like, I'm looking for a location to do my music video. He's like, okay, you can go check out my house. My house has been, filmed many, many times. Spike Lee just did a premiere at my house. It's a good location. You would love it. So I go, and his mom greets me. And so first we were very platonic, very friendly.
Yeah, wasn't he almost like a mentor for you in the beginning? Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of needed that because I had this and I still have, is this very childlike, we can do it all. I always think this way. And I take this back to Armenia. Growing up so innocent, not being indoctrinated with all this mature content. And right now I watch some of the cartoons with my kids. Almost every child cartoon is so mature, so deep. It really ages the kids. And sometimes it also kills hope in kids, And so I didn't have that toxic kind of influence.
It's a different world now.
Different world. But yeah, that was, again, another kind of move where my husband, future husband at the time, was like, look, I'm totally in love with you. I want to get married. I want to start a family. And we're very serious people. We're not going to just date and see how it goes. We're going to say, we're going to do a ground up construction. Here's the architectural plan. Let's get started. Let's get the permits, which is let's get engaged.
Is Anthony a lot like you? You guys are both very...
Like, totally. We're like the same person. When people see us, they're like, guys, are you sure you're not like sister and brother?
Is that much high energy ever cause like conflict, or no? You guys can...
The opposite.
Wow.
And you know what? It's high energy, but it's also extreme amount of humbleness. Like with him too. And he always surprises me with how humble he can be. Because when I feel something and I say, let's do this, he'd be like, yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
And
so you can build together.
Yeah. A lot of times I would feel nervous. I'd be like, I don't know if this idea is great or whatever,
right.
but he actually pushes the flames under my ideas.
Right.
And then some of his ideas, I push the flames. So it has never
it's like
caused
a push.
friction.
It's like a push and pull kind of thing.
Love it. Yeah.
Did you always want kids?
Oh yeah. Of course. Family values.
So you meet Anthony, then you,
Yeah.
I remember we talked about this on the Date You Right podcast, but what made you kind of give up the industry, the music industry? Because you're thinking, I moved to America, I'm going to be an actress. That's not it. I'm going to do music. This is your new passion.
Yeah.
What made you shift gears?
That was so I would say that was that one part where I did feel lost a little bit. And
because it's almost like your identity.
It was my identity, like through and through. From childhood to adulthood, to America, to
you're like, that's how I'm gonna make my impact.
That's how I'm gonna feel alive, by doing and creating and being relentless and being powerful and creative. And he comes to me, and the love was mutual. So for me to make the shift was almost very easy, but it was very dramatic for me internally. I didn't really show it to him a lot, but internally I went through this phase where I was like, so who am I again?
Yeah. What's my purpose?
Because
I'm sure you can see yourself on the stage and impacting people.
Totally.
I believe that God shows us like visions, and then we have to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
And so you're like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then you have this point where you're like, okay, well, I feel that I'm supposed to be on these stages or doing this, but how do I get there? And that's why we'll keep going down the story. But so you gave up music right when you got married?
Exactly.
Okay.
And we decided, we're going to have 2 kids, and we planned everything, like I said, architectural plans. And I knew that I also want to be 100% devoted mom.
Right.
Because I did my reading and research, like the first 8 years of the child's life
crucial.
Is what it is. So I always thought, look, I was able to put my degree on hold to pursue my acting and singing careers. I can put this on hold to pursue my motherhood, which kind of can't wait. So let me prioritize that, and then I'll find my way around.
Right.
But at the time when we met, he was pretty set. He was set. He had his own thing going.
Because he's in big real estate. Yeah.
And he had his whole crew and, his team, his employees. There was no place for me to even squeeze in and be productive.
Yeah.
Because for me to not be productive, I might as well die.
I was going to say, somebody with your energy, like you have to, I'm similar. Like I'm like, I have to have a project or working on something.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, if your phone is not ringing, if you have no to-do list, you're like,
what do I do? Yeah.
I don't understand.
Is that hard because I'm similar too. Like it's like, I love being with my babies, but I have to have like something else. So you have your kids.
Yeah.
Were you just full-time mom? How did that work?
So something so interesting. And that was kind of, I would totally say that was God's direction. When I was pregnant officially, I told my agent, my acting and modeling agent, and my producer, I said, look, I'm pregnant. I'm going to put all of this on hold because I'm going to be the best mom that there ever been. And they said, okay, whenever you're ready. 7 months later, my modeling agent contacts me, and he's like, you remember that, right? And he asks if I'm still pregnant. I'm like, yep, still pregnant, and got a tight belly, but I'm 7 months, and the baby is due. It's it's happening. I'm not coming back. He's like, no, I have a pregnancy job, and it's the cover of Babies R Us. Do you want to do it? So I actually booked that job. I was like, that was so fun, but now the baby's coming. Definitely, this is it. So 2 months later, he calls me back again. It's just that manager, And he says, I have a job with a Middle Eastern mom with a 2-week-old baby. And from what I have in my notes, your baby, if she's already born, should be 2 weeks old. I was like, actually, she's 14 days old. So he says it's for Pampers swaddlers in Middle East. I was like, okay, like won't hurt, and I'll get out of my postpartum thing and dress up and go, like, won't hurt.
Right.
So I go to that first audition and I feel alive. And I feel back to being like, oh my gosh. And I got this goosebumps. And I was like, this is probably the prayers that are being answered. Like, I can pursue her career and I'm attached to her, so I can be the mom that I want to be, and I can still be a creator, but I'll be the behind the scenes like momager.
Right.
So that took off completely. By the time she was 6, she had booked 100 jobs, national commercials, off-Broadway, movies, Netflix series, like a lot. And she actually managed to make a lot of money. And then I put my son into it. And my son was the co-star in Martin Scorsese's daughter's movie called Fish Out of Water that was viewed in Cannes Film Festival, where Martin Scorsese himself was sitting and watching our son on the big screen. He booked that at 4 years old. And when we stopped the acting, when we moved to Florida, I was like, let's take a break because I'm really not willing.
Where were you living at the time?
New York.
New York.
So New York was easy. You know, there's a lot of abundant amount of jobs, especially the kids were literally very personable, very easy. And I think acting for them really developed their personalities to be this outgoing and never be intimidated by adults.
I was going to say, I think that all kids in school should be taught some type of public speaking.
100%.
They don't. And so like, especially for the kids that are like introverted, because it is a skill set, you know? So talk to me about, I think this is something to touch on because I feel like women think they need to choose. And I love that you said, I have to be doing things, otherwise I feel like I'm dying. Yeah. And a lot of moms, unfortunately, they love their kids and there's a piece of them that is dying. So how could you talk to that mom that's listening right now to really follow that kind of like intuition? I know it kind of like fell into your lap, but you were like, oh my gosh, I can do both. I can pursue being a mom and I can also pursue something that I'm in this field. My kids are enjoying it. Like, was it easy for you to bring your kids into that and feel like you could do both?
You know, I think a big part of it is manifesting. And I think all women have this internally. We are powerhouses. Right. Like our cells, our energies, and our soul birds could be so powerful if you allow it, right? Right. And I also feel a lot of women don't allow themselves grace. When something is going down, they think, oh my gosh, it's going down. It's never going to go up. But it's like having your period, almost. Seriously. Like, it's coming
and it's going. Yeah, that's good.
So I think this has been my superpower. When there's a phase in my life, I always view it as, well, this is just this phase. I don't have to feel lost forever. Right. And in this phase of feeling lost, I can start writing back to myself. And writing is a big thing for me. Writing what it is that I love to do. What gives me life? What gives me energy, what gives me joy, right? You write and you just create and you leave it at that. The next day you do the same. The next month you do the same. You write your thoughts out. You don't feel like you're depressed. You don't feel like this is a phase and you're stuck and it's never going to get better. You just start creating that potential that could be. And believe it or not, when you put pen to paper, certain things really, really start coming to you. And I never imagined, my husband is very traditional Italian guy. Like, woman stays home, I work, and it's not going to happen. And in fact, we have a joke about it. Like when and he's here. When that conversation happened and he said, look, I want to start a family with you, but I'm not interested in J-Lo shaking her ass on stage. His exact words. 10 years later, after 2 kids, I'm on
You're
stage
shaking your ass
as
on
a
stage.
bikini model, and he's saying, pop those glutes, babe. So I just think it was all my manifestation. Yeah. It was all my writing. Even through the saddest moments, even through the moments of you feeling the most lost, you could still write what it is that gives you joy. Just write it.
Is it being in a space of gratitude?
Gratitude, almost like visualizing as if you have it. But that's work, right? I'm just saying, to begin with, just write what it is that makes you happy. Right. In the perfect world, if the world was perfect and you had the genie or the goldfish or whatever, you could ask for wishes. What would you ask, right? First, you start writing it to see, it's only like 5 things that really would make me feel out of this rut. Because a lot of times when you don't write things down, it starts becoming a clutter. Right. In clutter, you get lost even more. And it seems like an endless, vicious cycle of being lost. Yeah. But if you write it down, it seems less, and it seems more possible. It seems like your problems are not as big, and during that transition too, it wasn't something like you had to go to work, and so it's like you were like, well, this is kind of the direction I want to go with my kids, and you felt alive. How were your kids during that process? Did they enjoy doing it? Well, they didn't have a choice. Since 2 weeks old, they did. That's true. Yeah, and you know what? That became their personality. Like, now they love the camera. They love the grown-ups. In fact, sometimes our kids have a hard time relating to kids their age.
How old are your kids right now?
They're 7 and 9.
Oh, so they're still kind of little.
They're kind of little, but I'm telling you, my daughter specifically, has like one girlfriend. She cannot relate to girls her age. Her friends are mainly 14 and up, but most of her friends are 20, 21, 22, like literally.
Yeah, because she can hold a conversation.
She holds a conversation. She asks intelligent questions where, you know, even the 20-year-old has pleasure befriending our daughter.
Right.
And I think that's beautiful. And I think being in that industry gave them the understanding of life in a different way.
Do you feel like it took away anything from them being kids?
Not really. I've given them, again, so I go out in and out of phases, right? So when we moved to Florida, I pulled them out of school and I just homeschooled them. And so I've allowed them to completely be free. And I announced to them and I said, look, you guys are in this movie called Home Alone. Like, I want to watch you guys directing your lives. This has been the past 6 months, actually. And I'm watching them. I'm like, I want to see you write your own to-do list. Decide what you want to do, decide what you want to accomplish, what direction you want to go in your life. You know, you only have 2 hours a day coaching, like tutoring for 3 days a week. That's really all you have.
Right.
And I'm very busy right now, and I can't even take you to classes. So right now it's dry. Like, there's no push from mommy coming in. So you have to push yourselves in whatever direction. And they ended up playing outside until like 11 p.m. They would just, and I noticed, I was like, wow, so they really needed this. They really needed to get this out of their systems.
Right.
They'd be just playing, be in the pool, friends' homes, friends, you know, friends outside, friends inside, all day long, just playing recklessly.
Yeah.
And only recently, the past 2 weeks, they're like, yeah, we're over it. The playtime is great. You know, we want to now produce. So what can we do?
Right.
Like, well, you know, you can film some videos of you doing journalistic segments and stuff like that, because these expos are coming up and you want to go interview people, right? So you can actually rehearse and plan and prep your questions and be ready for that. So all of a sudden, with a little push, so I'm noticing being so open-ended in their schedule is giving them this agility to start self-directing themselves in their lives, which I think is the skill to have.
It's funny because my kids, my teenage daughter, she's 14, and every day she's like, I'm bored. I'm like, how was school? It was boring. And I'm like, what are you excited about? What are you passionate about? And so with her, we're kind of in teenage mode where it's like, I can't make you want to do something if you don't want to do it, you know? But I think that kids, they'll kind of find their own path.
Phase.
Yeah.
It's just another phase.
Yeah.
And I say this to our kids too, like when they just go through this like lazy stages, and they do, and they're like, yeah, I don't feel like doing anything.
Right.
Like, okay, that's great. It's just a phase.
Yeah.
Like, you'll figure it out. To allow them to know that, hey, I'm expecting you to snap out of this. Because this is just a phase.
Yeah.
So they understand, and they also don't feel guilty about enjoying some lazy time.
But they also have like I always tell Garrett, well, you know, she might be going through a lazy phase, but she has parents that are like always going and producing. And I think that moms don't give themselves enough credit for just like the example that they or the standard that they hold, where their kids kind of want to be more like their parents. So let's shift gears a little bit, because I want to talk about your fitness competitions. Yeah. Who got into it first, you or Anthony?
Anthony.
Okay, because I remember on the podcast, and I want you to share a little bit that now, because that's such a huge part of your guys' journey, what took you to biohacking and everything. Yeah. So now, I know you guys shared this on the Date Your Wife podcast, but share a little bit of the story. Like, all of a sudden, Anthony is like, I'm done. He was overweight. He's like, I'm done with this chapter of my life. You guys had like a personal trainer live with you at one point, right?
Exactly.
He starts getting into the competitions, and then were you kind of like, maybe I should do this?
Yeah, well, as a former athlete, I always saw myself as the fit one.
Okay.
Right? All of a sudden, my 315-pound husband looks like a model.
You're like, wait a minute.
And he's actually on stage, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, I never valued bodybuilding in this way. I never thought you could look this amazing from just 9 months of weightlifting. Right. So not only did he lose the weight, but he managed to gain that much muscle. And he did one competition for the documentary from from Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli, which became a sensation.
Did you guys already have your documentaries before?
No. That was the documentary.
Oh, that was the first one.
His weight loss journey was the documentary.
Okay.
And the way he started was he was filming it on his cell phone to hold himself accountable. Okay. Once he succeeded, everybody started talking about it. And he was like, this will be so motivational for people to watch how I actually managed to do it. Because he tried 8-9 times to lose weight. Right. But it wasn't until we focused on transformation And I photoshopped his head. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
I photoshopped his head on a muscular body, and he started seeing that end result.
Right.
And that was a complete transformation. So once he did that, and I watched him on stage, and that was the end of filming from Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli, to kind of release it on, global platforms.
Did you guys self-produce that?
Yeah, self-produced.
Okay.
Every single documentary. Wow. To this point, we've self-produced 12 documentaries and 59 Best Documentary Awards.
Oh, wow.
So it just became this incredible passion and hobby for the both of us. But as I'm watching him on stage, I'm like, wow, I could do that, because at that time I had my mom bod and I had a diastasis recti. Yeah. Everybody kind of, I'm seeing a lot of moms now, take it more serious and they bounce back and all that stuff. But at the time I had a diastasis recti. So I had changed my wardrobe. I was wearing loose clothes. It was all going down for me. And he had this joke. He's like, well, now we're the Beauty and the Beast, but, I'm the beauty babe. And it hit me. I know he was joking.
Yeah, but you're like, wait a minute.
But it's actually true now. It's I don't feel as confident anymore.
I think as moms also too, we tell ourselves it's okay because I have the kids, and it's just accept that in yourself.
Sure.
Until all of a sudden you have this moment where you're like, wait, I don't have to accept that. And it sounds like, even though he was joking around, playfully saying it, something kind of switched, and you're like,
totally.
And then it's you just have to make the decision and do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually convenient because the coach was still at the tail end of his training. So he was at home. And I was like, well, why don't you give me a meal plan? I just want to see what a meal plan looks like.
Yeah.
If I can actually, because we were already doing meal prepping for him. I kind of saw and observed everything, how strict you have to be.
So much chicken and rice.
So much chicken and veggies and dates. And, mine was hand selected by me. I was like, okay, I want to eat ground turkey and I want to eat quinoa. I don't want to eat rice. I want to eat quinoa. I want to eat asparagus because it's good for your liver. I want to eat dates. So I selected all of the ingredients and I said, give me a meal plan based on this.
Right.
Because I know I can eat these meals every single day, 5 times a day. I can
like
do it.
these, yeah.
Yeah. And the moment he did that, and I prepped my first week worth of meals, and it was a whole thing. I remember my mom was with us, my mother-in-law was with us, and we were doing it for him. So the process was already going, so it was easy for me to just kind of fall into that place. And I signed up to the gym, and Anthony's like, okay, I'm gonna watch you train yourself for 2 weeks. If you hang in there, then I'll train you. I was like, look at this guy, I inspire you to lose the weight, and now you have to test me out. Of course, I love that push because I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I love I'm gonna prove you wrong moments. And
it's almost when somebody says you can't, you're like, oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. Tell me I can't. More of it. Tell me my ideas are bad. Tell me I can't because I'm gonna prove you wrong. And my husband took over my training as the nutritionist was giving the meal plan. Later on, I realized how inexpensive meal plans are. It's like $160, $180 a month, and they tweak and they adjust. You take them, you take your full body.
It almost makes it easier.
So much easier. You don't have to decide what you want to eat. Yeah. It saves so much money. You prep only on Sundays, and for the rest of the week, you have your meals.
You're good.
So it became really easy, and even our kids were eating our meal prep, and it was very easy. And I started training. So when he started training me, maybe my muscle structure from my athletic background was there.
Yeah.
But quickly I started lifting really heavy. I was lifting 225-pound deadlifts.
Oh, geez.
And doing 210-pound squats. And so
that's a lot for your little frame.
It was a lot. And he was surprised. He kept saying, his motto was, if you were a man, you would be stronger than me.
Yeah.
And then I put him on my shoulders one day and I squatted him with that 6 times. And then at the end of the 6th time, I think I was just about to drop him and he caught himself from the bar. But we did some fun things. And really that fitness competition time and the training helped us get so close.
Yeah, I was
really
going to say.
See what we're made out of. How much pressure can you live under? How much pressure can you survive? And he realized how much I love gamifying everything. And honestly, that's another superpower that women have internally. And if you just lean on that and gamify everything, it's not that serious. It's really
it's almost like reverse engineer. You're like, okay, so this is the end goal.
Yeah.
I give myself permission. Let's just
totally.
Yeah.
And I've had days when I had to cheat on my meal plan, like at the bottom of the fridge when the kids aren't watching and my husband is not watching. And again, like anytime I felt like low, I would say, okay, I'm giving myself permission to do this because I know tomorrow I'll snap back into it.
And I love that you're sharing that because I think I always tell people, I'm like, you don't have to be perfect. Like if you're 80%, that's better than 40%. If you're 90, you're not perfect. If like, and a lot of times women, what they'll do, especially with like diet, like they'll have a brownie and then they like the next day they spiral into this guilt. And I like that you just mentioned, like, it's a new day, get over it, move on.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you might look perfect on your Instagram, but everybody's human. Right. So you start doing these fitness competitions. What changed in you? Like for me, when I did them, I was like, wow, like I'm like, everybody should do one. It's the discipline. Totally. It's like, it's something, it's just, it's so fun. Like, what did you find discovering yourself in doing these shows?
Well, obviously like having a deadline, right? And then going towards that, you are definitely not cheating on your meal plan. So close. That gave me a whole different level of discipline. Right. Because now you're going to showcase yourself on stage. So basically, having that deadline gives you this understanding. You have to be on stage. Right. So you're not going to cheat. So that almost like takes you to the next level of discipline, next level of really respecting yourself and that outcome. Right. And what I really realized was the people that were competing were from all walks of life. You know, people that have money, people that don't have money. Right. Moms that are 40s or 50s and girls that are in their 20s. So I recognize, oh my gosh, like bodybuilding is just, it's not just muscly guys who are using steroids. Yeah. It could be moms, you know, who are still breastfeeding. Yeah. Like it's really just it's almost a health hack because when you build your muscles, you support your bones. Right. And I think every woman should do at least one competition because it's like going to the army. You get that discipline that you can never forget. Right. And you can always fall into that. When you feel weak, when you have osteoporosis, when you have osteopenia, when you get diagnosed with something, right? You feel weak, you have cramping or whatever. You can always fall into that discipline that your body already knows. Right. And you can actually fix yourself.
Well, it's funny, before I got into competitions, I was like, I don't want to get bulky.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know how hard it is to put on muscle? Like once you get into it, what I loved about doing the shows is just the education I learned. Sure. And then like you said, you realize you're like, wow, like I don't have to have my mom bod or whatever it is. Yeah. And you realize you were in at some level, that was just what you were telling yourself, like the story you were telling yourself. Yeah. So did you guys end up doing another documentary with you in it?
Yeah, so we did the Super Lollies, which was, so my husband encouraged me. He said, look, your transformation was amazing. So you didn't lose much weight, but A, you closed your
body
diastasis recti, right? And B, you gained 12 pounds of muscle, right? Which is unreal for 1 year, right?
Yeah, especially
and
for a woman.
So he said, let's do one documentary for you. And so traditional Tereza style, I get all of the competitions and I start writing my list and I start looking up their Instagrams and seeing which one do I want to compete with. And of course, WBFF was my favorite.
That one looks fun. I've never done it.
It's so fun.
Like
it's
the gowns.
Fancy,
yeah.
The gowns. It's got the feathers. It looks like a Victoria's Secret show. So it's like, oh my gosh, getting up and being a Victoria's Secret model.
And you have acting background, so you're comfortable on stage.
And dancing. Oh, forget it. And I got my first pro card mainly because of my stage presence. Yeah. Not like the other girls worked for 4 years and they had like really amazing
I saw a video of you and I was like, she just like owned that stage.
Like, you know, just going around and like, this is my moment. And it was fun. But what I did is I said, okay, well, I want to compete in WBFF, but then we should also feature OCB because they're a natural competition. And I want to prove to the audience you could do it naturally because they test you. Right. They test your urine, they test you polygraph testing. And again, I was still nursing Legend. So even my protein powder was plain pea protein. Like I didn't even take BCAAs. I didn't even take creatine. Nothing foreign was going into my body. And yet I was able to gain 12 pounds of muscle. It's possible. Yeah. So, and then we looked at NPC and we said, well, that's the most legit one. So we got to do one with them. Yeah. And then we saw Pure Elite, which is in UK. And that was another one. We said, okay, we got to do an international
one. Didn't you guys do like 6 shows or like 4 in like 6 months or something?
Yeah. 6 shows in 6 months.
Wow.
Exactly. So, and then we did all kinds of different categories. So combined, when we calculate, it's 35 times we stepped on stage in different outfits, different categories combined.
But that's what created the documentary.
It was created. Yep, exactly. The Super Lollies is a docuseries, actually. It got 15 Best Documentary Awards, Best Docuseries Awards. It's so it's so experiential and it's so real. It's like a reality TV style, I would say, you know. So if you watch, you really feel like you're there. Right. We're opening our freezer, we're showing the meal prep, you know, our kids are there, this one's crying, this one wants sleep, and I need my carb up day, and you know, this one wants to go to a restaurant and I can't because I'm on a, you know, so it's, all of it is featured in that docuseries.
It's interesting though too, because you have so much going on, and I think that people are like, how do you do it all? How do you kind of, and I hate the word balance, but you have your kids, like how are you juggling? You're bringing them on the road, you're doing all this. Are they just used to it, or how do you do it?
Again, I compartmentalize everything, and the organization skill is my superpower for sure. I'll write everything down. Okay, kids is like another division, right? What do they need? What are their needs educationally, emotionally, physically? And I managed to knock them out business-wise, like documentary-wise, husband-wise, my family-wise. It's all divisions. And anytime like I feel so overwhelmed, I'm telling you, the spreadsheets, the writing down really helps you understand it's not that much.
It's not that much.
It's not that much.
I know.
You can, if you just write a list, a to-do list, you can actionably do one thing at a time. Yeah. And give yourself the grace that it's going to take this much time. And then you give yourself deadlines. Yeah. You know, by this day, I should be done with these 5 action plans.
We do this thing inside of Garrett's company of mine. We call it facts versus feelings, because people spiral in their feelings, and you're like, okay, let's just write down the facts of where you're at. Yes. And some of the facts you may not like, but guess what? If you know the facts, then you have the power to change that. Totally. So I love that, like what you're saying. You're like, I just write it all down. We do it similar. We call it facts versus feelings, because I'm like, and then when you do that, you literally have a clear picture. You're like, okay, it's doable. It's not that overwhelming. For me, when I have less on my plate, that's when I get myself in trouble. So for me, I like to stay busy and productive because it's part of this life, like it being, you know, having purpose and staying productive. Yeah. Are there ever days where you're just like, I don't want to do it today? And how do you get out of that?
I mean, usually closer to my cycle, I would say.
You're like, I don't want to do it today.
Yeah, and I feel like as I near my 40s, like I'm literally going to be 40 years old, I feel my cycles a little bit more. So we're working on optimizing all of that with hormone replacement therapy and peptide therapy and all of that with all my biohacking people. And I recognize that there's definitely days that I feel gloomy, and I give myself permission. I'm like, look, I just have to do what I feel like I need to do. So I'll do red light therapy, I'll do some PEMF mat, and believe it or not, all these biohacks actually work, and they energize your cells from within. So you're still able to carry on with just the basics, at least, even if you're not going to be a go-getter, super achiever for that day. And the next day you wake up and you're able to knock out a bunch of things. And again, deadlines, purposeful projects, they keep pushing you. And even when you feel groggy and not so good, the purpose of it still grabs you out of bed and says, okay, you got to do this.
I think
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, for me, it's like, it's consistency. Like, even the days you don't want to do it, you're like, okay, but you know, this is on my schedule. So for me, it's like staying consistent. But like you said, I want to dive into like the biohacking, because there's so many little things that we can do that really can, like, it's crazy. Like, I'm sure you guys, if you've gone down this rabbit hole, how did you get into so you're doing the fitness stuff, you're doing the documentaries, and now like the whole thing is biohacking. When did this take a turn?
Okay. So as that was happening, so we were competing and training hardcore. In the meantime, our son Legend got misdiagnosed like 7 times. Oh wow, with what? So he had, they said that he has Lyme disease, which he didn't. Later on we discovered. They said he has restless leg syndrome, that he is on the spectrum, that he has silent acid reflux, that he has parasite overload. Wow. What were the other 2?
Was he showing signs or symptoms or any of this?
So the sign was not sleeping. Okay. So he drove me nuts. Like, he would not sleep for hours on end. And if he did sleep in 40 minutes, which was a sleep cycle, he'd be up. And when he was up, he was unhappy. He was
How old
crying.
was this?
He was 6-7 months.
Oh,
already.
So when he was little, okay.
He was very little, and I was like, something's up.
Yeah.
Like, this is not normal. And I was spoiled with my daughter Love, because she was sleeping through the night, like Angel. And that's why I was like, having a kid is this easy? I'm having another one. Yeah. And then comes Legend with legendary problems. So I turned my back on the medical industry, because I was like,
You're not accepting that.
I did not come to America to have a child that has all of these conditions. And I was like, 7 different doctors are giving me 7 different results.
Because they don't know.
Because they don't know.
Yeah.
And they were giving me 7 different treatment plans and medications. And I never took any of them, just gut instinct, right? I was like, until I get 3 answers that are the same, I'm not even touching these. But I'll go buy them and I'll keep them in a house. So I had a whole thing, a countertop full of this one's protocol is this one's medication is this and that. I'm looking at that. I was like, this cannot be. So somehow Googling or whatever, I found out about functional medicine. I found out about Dr. Tom O'Brien and Dr. Steve Gundry. They became my gurus. Literally, I was listening to their audiobooks for about a month straight. And it's funny when fast forward, 6 years later, we're interviewing them on Biohack, on the set of Biohack Yourself. Anthony's like, oh my gosh, your voice.
You're like, I've heard this before.
You're my 5 o'clock voice. Because I would just listen to these books. And the autoimmune fix opened up my eyes.
Autoimmune fix? Okay.
Autoimmune fix. It also made me completely paranoid about life and everything is toxic. And it was that, but I needed that wake-up call. And I made a complete shift to functional medicine. So I was able to see about, I think, 20 functional medicine practitioners across all of the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia. So I was going to everyone, just like reckless horse, what do you call it? Headless horse. I was like, I'm going to see everyone. I'm going to see answers, and I want these answers to be the same.
Right.
So finally, I found the answer. The answer was we had mold in our HVAC system. Okay. Look, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And how would I know? And Legend had a genetic mutation, the MTHFR gene mutation, that doesn't break down certain things. It doesn't detox him properly.
Yeah, so he's holding on to this mold in his body. Versus some people can,
like us, the 3 of us, we were fine, not affected, and he was affected. And his under eyes were purple, so that was a telltale sign.
Oh, wow.
Like he looked tired, exhausted, and irritable, and that was it. That was the secret.
How do you get those toxins out of your body?
So what we did is I found this herbalist. She was like this lady that operates out of her basement. She was one of the last ones that I came across, and she was very approachable, and she was available over text. And this is my son, and I'm sleepless, and I was like, and she was 10 minutes away from me. So I was like, okay, I've seen this many doctors. Here's the test from this. Here's the test from this. I had everything saved, right? The stool test and the food test, sensitivity test, everything, urine test. And I was like, I need a protocol to detox him. He's like, yeah, I got this. I don't even need your tests. I got this. So she gives me a protocol. I'm like, I need you to write down what you're going to give him. So she gives me a protocol of 40 herbs that she's going to mix in a cocktail, and that I have to give him 15 ml in the morning, 15 ml at night. And how am I going to do this is through a dropper, and you have to hold him tight, and he's going to cry. And when he cries, you just put it in his mouth. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare, but if it's going to work, I'll do it. So I take her protocol to the other functional medicine doctors who I felt very comfortable and friendly with. I was like, can you audit this? She's available over text and phone. Like, I would go with her if you guys approve this. Yeah. So it was almost like all these
group.
Yeah. I always put like a board of advisors. When we have
but that's good. You're almost like brainstorming together.
And if I get similar answers, then I know I'm on the right path. Right. And even my energy goes that way, and I'm more comfortable and reassuring that this is the right way. If I don't have a doubt, it always works. But if it's the right thing and I have a doubt about, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like energy-wise.
You have to feel
you're doing it right. Yeah. And so for me, it's comfortable when I get 3-4 answers that are the same. So all of these functional medicine doctors said that this protocol is going to work because it's going to not only detox him, it's going to nourish him, it's going to heal his gut. And it worked 6 months into the protocol. The kid was like lights on. He started speaking. He started sleeping like 6-hour stretches. And that was, to me, that was understanding that he's doing better.
So you were kind of doing your own biohacking before you started like the fitness shows and all that.
Totally.
You were down that route of like.
Down that route, understanding there's a whole holistic route. Yeah. But to me, it was very vast. I was like, okay, so what is functional medicine? What is alternative medicine? What is homeopathy? Yeah. What is naturopathy? What is regenerative medicine? A lot of people don't know. Like I don't know. Yeah. And then I kept telling everyone, well, I'm just doing homeopathic stuff, right? But it wasn't that. It was very functional because I was still doing the testing and everything. So when we came across biohacking, and it was through just, again, like life brought this into our lives. Anthony came to Florida for a real estate deal, and he's like, oh my gosh, babe, you're gonna fall in love with this city. Just take a flight and come. It was one of those like last minute things. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm flying. So I come here. That day we meet this guy, Stephen Klein, and he's like, oh yeah, so you biohack. I'm like, no, we do functional medicine. We do homeopathic
He's
stuff.
like, no.
He's like, no, that's basically biohacking. It's a whole world. You don't know about it?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't know. He's like, well, I can introduce you to this one and that one. So first I thought, okay, well, he can introduce me to the best doctors, and I can optimize my son's protocols, and I can optimize him now. And then soon enough, I told Anthony, I was like, we got to do a documentary about this, because imagine.
People don't know.
How many people are getting prescribed the wrong medication that gives them a whole bunch of other health issues? So, and I felt obligated to tell my friends, to tell my family about the journey that I went through. But it felt exhausting, because now I knew everything. I thought I knew. And
now you're obligated to share it.
But how do I share it in one massive way where I'll just be like, okay, just go watch Biohack yourself. You'll find out everything I know. So that was amazing. And Anthony was like, I'm totally back in this. Let's go. So I got to work. I got into my spreadsheets, and I said, we're going to title this Biohack Yourself. Like, go biohack yourself. Because that's what I've been doing. And I'm like, I've been pissed at the medical system. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way.
Right.
And people need to understand this is their duty, their job.
To go educate yourself.
Biohack yourself, you know. And so I got into this, and I started getting these introductions. And the guy, Stephen Klein, he was in this industry for about 10 years already. So he's tried every modality. He's known what's good, what's bad. He's known founders. He's known experts, who has come into the industry, who's impactful, who's going places, who's horrible at doing business, and who's stay away from, you know. So he really helped me bring together the cast, 114 people. And it just took off. We started interviewing. One thing led to another. Anthony brought his business understanding, and I brought my creativity. And honestly, I'm telling you, when I look back, you couldn't have planned it more perfect than how it turned out. Yeah. You know, and the word got out. People started approaching us. They said, we want to be in this documentary. There's never been such a big collaborative effort where everyone is coming under one umbrella to really talk to the masses. And we're that family who's on these journeys of self-optimization. And we're talking very, very simple language. So people supported that. And so 114 interviews in a matter of 8 months, 12 cities. We traveled everywhere. We filmed all these interviews, put together in record-breaking time. We edited and distributed it in last December. We released it.
Was it last December that it came out?
Last December it came out.
Wow.
And we hosted the Oscars of Longevity at the A4M, which is one of the most respectable, expos in the longevity field. They said, yep, we're going to give you the Bellini Ballroom, 14,000 square feet.
Wow.
And at first we were like, are we going to be able to fill this? And 800 people showed up.
Wow.
The world's leading experts. I mean, Brecca was there. Del Bigtree was there. Everyone was there.
Right.
And that was amazing.
I do think like what you guys are doing, it's a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And people just accept like, oh, you have this or this. And you're like, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
And especially for you to recognize that in your son and then say, no, I'm not doing it that way, and go do your own research. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that. So they just kind of accept, whatever their child is titled or whatever and things like that. And it doesn't need to be that way. And it's because of, the medical industry. Yeah. It's a moneymaker. Yeah. And so if we actually all educate ourselves, so that's why I think it's so cool with what you guys are doing. Yeah. You're bringing awareness to people. Yeah. And you're sharing it through your family and your own stories and your kids. And interestingly enough, like you're an actress of your own life,
Exactly. So I used to write that. The moments when I felt the most lost, that was my motto. I'm the lead actor of my own life. Seriously, I probably wrote like 100 pages of that. And do you understand that comes true? And that's what I want your audience to take from today's. If you don't take anything, if you don't go biohack yourself, if you don't do anything, start writing the most powerful things about yourself, about what you want into your life. And there's no other way but it coming true. Right. It's going to happen. But do go biohack yourself, because the optimization is real. Like, I'm almost 40 and I feel better than I've ever felt. My brain is at its maximum capacity because I'm doing brain optimization. We tested with Dr. Danielle K. We did his scanning. We understand what's going on with the brain functionality. Wow. We even tested with Dr. Dogris, who does the brain rewiring and remapping. And really just understanding your brain is just an organ. It's a muscle. Right. Just like you can get better biceps, you can get a better brain. Right. And you can give it nutrition, and things can light up. Right. And dots can connect. in ways you've never imagined.
Right.
Your heart can be so much healthier.
Right.
Your blood is pumping through your heart. Like that alone, bettering your heart, you can understand your own body.
Right.
And you actually, through the biohacking, I feel like I've gotten connected to my soul even deeper because things are clearing out.
Right.
You know, your body is like a pool. If it's filled with cans, you can't really see the bottom of the pool.
Right.
But if you just do a nice cleaning, detoxing, parasite cleansing,
what's like a normal, like, so for like somebody who's like, what does biohacking look like daily? Are they like red light therapy, or like what does your either weekly or daily routine look like with biohacking?
So biohacking, I would be honest, it's an endless journey. And you have to go into biohacking with thinking this: there's such a thing as good enough, right? So once you get that motto straight, now you start going in. First, you got to declutter. You got to do detoxes. You got to do parasite cleansing. Those are periodic. Those are maybe every 6 months, right? You do the parasite cleanse. You know you don't have tenants in there that are just eating off of you and not paying your rent. That's what I call them. I call them the, what are the tenants the squatters, right? You don't have squatters in your body. So that's a big deal. And then you detox with herbal supplements from heavy metals and from glyphosates, which I was glyphosate toxic. So that clouds your brain, that affects your hormones, you become moody, and the down spiral starts. And by the way, just for your audience, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you're in a downward, you got to do a blood test. You got to get your basics checked with the functional medicine doctor, not regular, because functional medicine doctors check way more markers. They also check your hormones, not the average panel that a traditional doctor checks. They check, reverse T3 and this and that. And what they do is they connect your vitamins and your hormones, and they say, okay, well, your vitamin D is low because you're high on estrogen or whatever. Like they connect everything, and then they can understand what to tweak.
It's a customized approach.
But if you don't know your hormones and you just see that you're low on this vitamins, now you're loading up on this vitamins, and yet your DNA cannot methylate them, you're putting more toxins in you. So go to a functional medicine doctor. We have plenty of them in Shield, featured in Shield. If they go to @ShieldDoc on Instagram, we've already started the promo. So all of the doctors that actually have telemedicine and they can take you today and see your vitals and put you on the right path, they're there. So biohacking every day really looks different. You can cycle on and cycle off of certain things, and you can really just say, okay, well, this was good enough today.
What's some daily patterns that you do?
I mean, the red light is a given, right? Because I don't see that much sun, even though I try, but you don't want the harmful rays UV or whatever. So I use my sauna space. My sauna space is the best. It's got the most effective light bulb. It's not made out of China or anything like that. It's incandescent light, and it sits right there and like next to my laptop. So as I'm working, you can get the blue light actually gets mitigated by the red light. Did you know that too? Yeah. So as the red light beams to you and the blue light comes to you, it actually cancels out the blue light, and it regenerates and rejuvenates your cells.
I just have one of those crazy masks you wear.
The masks? Yeah. The masks are good. I just love sauna space. It actually feels like I feel energized.
Okay.
And I've seen it in my daughter, Love, and when we were actually fixing her lymph node problem, because she had a golf-sized bowl on her neck, lymph node, because her lymphatic system was stagnated. We went to Hydrate Spa, and what she was doing is actually Lumari. We went to Lumari. They rebranded it. David Perez. So she was sinking in hydrogen baths 3 times a day, and she was combining that with a red light bed. Now, the moment she would only be in the red light bed for 4 minutes, she would come out of that. She was running from side to side, laughing her butt off, almost crying to laughing, because she's such a tiny body. So the red light energizes her so much faster. For me to see that, it's almost like, wow, these things do work. I've seen miracles and I've seen the proof of it work. That's why I believe in it, and I do it daily. So the red light is daily. I'll do the hue light hydrogen therapy. I have the big machine, so I'll put it through my nose, and again, I'm working. It's convenient. I'll do my blue blocker glasses. That's a given. I'll do my PEMF mat, the PEMF from Cellar 8 or Centropics.
What's that one?
So PEMF, pulse electromagnetic frequency.
Okay.
So what the mat?
See, there's so many things that I'm like, I don't even know what that is. But I just imagine your house of having all these like cool gadgets.
Yeah, we have all the gadgets. We have Juvent. Juvent is a micro vibrational plate that actually promotes bone stem cell growth.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know you can actually promote bone growth.
Yeah.
But this thing is right there. Like we all stand on it for 20 minutes a day.
Oh, wow.
And my mother is almost reversing her osteoporosis
wow.
with Juvent and OsteoStrong. OsteoStrong has like 220 locations. You actually go to that place.
Okay.
It's a 5-minute thing a week, but you just do this resistance training and it promotes bone growth.
Oh, wow.
And within 12 months, if you have osteoporosis, you can completely reverse it. So that's like something shocking that we found out. PEMF mat is amazing because what it does is it unclutters your cells.
Okay.
Everyone's cells is cluttered.
Right.
It's cluttered because, we sit too much.
Right.
Now, back in Armenia, when I was growing up, my cells were not cluttered because I was just
running.
up and running.
Yeah.
So that was doing the lymphatic drainage, that was doing everything. But now in today's society, we're all stagnated. So what this does is it pulsates your cells and it zhuzhes them up.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny. And I've seen it in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
Dr. David Menkoff did the blood test and he looked through the microscope and he saw my cells clumped up. And he said, yeah, you have some clumping happening. For about 2 months, I was doing PEMF mat. And then I go back and the cells are healthier and separate. And they're actually functioning now the way they're supposed to function.
Wow.
So that's amazing. I do my brain peptides from Anthony.
Brain peptides?
The brain peptides, Jay Campbell.
Biolongevity Lab.
Okay, cut. And I do my brain peptides, the BioMind. I love BioMind from Biolongevity Labs. It really just lights me up, and I have longer stamina to work. I'll be up from 4 o'clock in the morning, and I pull days till like 11 p.m.
Right.
Like I have these really heavy days when I'm pre-producing a documentary. And this thing carries me over, and it organizes my windows for me even more than I already can do naturally.
Right.
We take nitric oxide. And that I don't see an immediate jump in anything, but I know that our natural nitric oxide production goes down, and it's very important for us. So I take N1O1 nitric oxide just daily. It's a lozenge, and my kids love it. It's like their candy.
I was gonna say, do you take like regular vitamins or supplements?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And those,
but they're more customized to what you need based off of your blood work.
Exactly. So DNA Life, SNP Diagnostics, and 10X Health, right? They all do the genetic testing,
right? And
they all give you customizable vitamins that nurture your gene breakage and gene expression. So that's my baseline. I do that every day, no matter what. On top of that, my doctor, Dr. Mark Gordon, who took me on, God bless him, he gives me my hormone replacement therapy. He gives me 1,000 IU vitamin D and blah, blah, blah. Customized things that have nothing to do with the genetic mutation stuff. So this is on top of that. And then the BPC 157, that's the coating of the gut and all of that, and the peptides, and that's all kind of cherry on the cake, which I just do if I remember. If I don't, I don't.
Where would you recommend, if somebody's new to biohacking and they're listening to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get this and this.
It's too much.
So where would they go? Should they go watch the documentary first, or what would you?
Honestly, that's the best masterclass. We call this a podcast married a masterclass married a documentary. So if you watch Biohack Yourself on Amazon Prime, there's part 1 is called Lifespanning Your Vitality, part 2 is Beyond the Quantum, and part 3 is a series of 3.
Okay.
So if you just watch these on repeat, just watch it for a whole month, right? Every time you watch, you're going to get new information. Take notes. Start implementing one by one by one. See what's priority for you.
Right.
This is how we do
I'm
it,
I do the bare minimum, and then I hear you talk. I'm like, dang it, I need to do more.
But then you just add one thing at a time. Trust me, I felt so overwhelmed so many times.
Right.
And then you want to do it perfect.
Yeah.
And you just can't. And even right now, I know I'm not doing perfect, but you get to this maturity point where when you see things are working, you're like, look, this is good enough. For this moment.
Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself.
Because that causes oxidative stress and your cells become zombified, and that's even worse. So don't stress out. Add one thing at a time, and remember, 2 weeks ago, you weren't even doing this.
Right.
So you're already in a good place.
And I think that's what people need to understand if they're listening to this podcast. If you're dealing with any symptoms, you don't feel like yourself, especially as we age as women and we get a little bit older, it's like, oh, we'll go take testosterone. I'm like, well, it can't just be that easy. And it depends, like you said, your DNA. And so I think a lot of times we do nothing and then we're like, we don't feel any better, you know? So it's really, educating yourself. So definitely go check out Biohacking on Netflix.
Biohack Yourself on Amazon.
Or on Amazon.
Biohack Yourself. You can also go to Biohack Yourself Media on Instagram, where we put our latest everything, like whatever's happening with the company. And of course, subscribe to our magazine.
Yeah.
Like the print magazine is on our website, biohackyourself.com. Click on print. It's $29.99 for the entire year.
Oh, cool. Is it monthly?
It's quarterly.
Oh, quarterly. Okay.
And what you're getting in there, I'm telling you, the research that goes behind getting one magazine finalized. We have a peer review faculty board member. So they actually peer review all the advertisers. Every single advertiser is validated.
Do you guys have a podcast?
No.
You should, because like it's funny. I go for a walk every morning and I always listen to something. Like I very rarely read just because I love walking around. Yeah. But you should do a podcast, and every week you educate the audience on like little snippets. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like we do that with the documentaries and then we do that with the magazine.
Right.
Everything, the latest studies. Like we have 12 contributors in each edition that were chosen from like 200 submissions with their articles that are publishing in our magazine. And these are latest studies. Like you can't even see these articles anywhere else. Right. These are hidden gems that really educate. Wow. So I suggest everyone read this, and we call this is the most biohacking product, because when you open the magazine, there's no EMF. There's no blue light, and it's tech-free wellness. You can sit, you can get into your parasympathetic mode. You can actually read.
Wow.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
When we used to read?
I'm actually getting ready to go do like a 21-day kind of like cleanse thing where you're in and out of a sauna, taking all these vitamins. And you're supposed to be in and out of the sauna for like 2 hours. So I'll get the magazine, that way I can read it while I'm doing these sessions.
You're in the zone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So what is your project you're working on right now?
So By Old Dentistry.
Oh, that's right.
Is the baby. We're actually in production right now. Literally in 2 weeks, we fly to Switzerland, to Germany, to Saudi, to LA to film this documentary. And oh my gosh, this biological dental world has blown my mind.
I didn't even know that was a thing till you were saying like you thought you needed a root canal, and then you were like, wait, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is that a lot of the biohackers don't even know about biological dentistry. And that's what really shocked me, because you come into this bubble of biohacking and you're like, well, oh my gosh, these guys are like, you know, when you go to a pickleball crew and they're all talking the same terminology and everything, that's what it felt like. And I was like, oh yeah, you guys know biodentistry, right? A lot of people didn't. Yeah. And in fact, Gary Brecka, the most recognized biohacker in the world, discovered about biological dentistry last year. Oh, okay. And he had his issues taken care of by one of our stars, Dr. Jay Gundy, who actually took on the most complicated case of my mother. So the documentary, again, follows the Lolli family, optimizing themselves yet another level, because now that we biohacked ourselves, now that we know SHIELD, right, how women should biohack themselves, now we realize there's this little area in your entire body that can completely control your entire body. Right. Right? And so biodentists say that mouth is your gut. It's literally the gut. It could determine your future. Wow. So all the practices that traditional dentistry has been doing, some of them are flawed. And now they're discovering new techniques, new implants, new ways of even taking out teeth and doing cavitations and all that stuff. So we're doing this documentary, my mom, my mother-in-law, my father, our kids, my husband, myself, literally in front of camera. We're going through biological dental makeovers. Oh, wow. And we're showing the audience process. What we're doing. Right. And in the meantime, we have casted the most leading biological dentists who we're going to interview in Switzerland. I'm so excited at this JCCI Congress. What is this Congress even? Through research, I discovered it's the biggest Congress about implants. Wow. Where they're talking about ceramic implants. That's the new way to do implants, ceramic. You cannot do titanium because it causes inflammation. Garrett had implants and his body rejected him, and that he's been too scared to get him back in. That's why he wears a denture, because that's... I didn't know that. Yeah, I couldn't even tell. I know. Well, it was like a big thing. He had them all ripped out, and he was so scared because his body was rejecting whatever was in the implants. Wow. So he's literally been wearing a denture for like 10 years. I can refer him to I think he's just gotten used to it and accepted it, but that would be interesting to find out more about that. Yeah. So when my mom went to the surgery, they took out 11 teeth from the top. Okay. And 9 of them had root canals with metal posts in them. Yeah. Okay. And when they took them out, they were covered in mold.
Oh, wow.
So there's metal and mold
no wonder your body's
infesting in your gums.
Wow.
And my mom was experiencing early signs of memory loss. I don't want to say the D word because I don't want to manifest.
That's good.
But can you imagine? She's super healthy, all her blood work, hormones, perfect. But she's losing her memory at the age of 62.
And it's from her teeth.
And it's all from her teeth.
Wow.
And her gums were turning purple. And her under eyes were really, really dark. And she's like, it's genetics. Like my mom.
She's like, I'm getting older. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had that, whatever. Oh, maybe I'm just not sleeping enough. That's why. I'm like, why
Wow.
are you not sleeping enough? Oh, I don't know. I just wake up at random hours. Why do you wake up at random hours?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well,
She's
let's
just
check
used
your
to
hormone.
it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. People
Wow.
just get used to
how they feel. Like
Yeah.
they're used to feeling crappy every day. And they're like, well, it's because everyone blames it on age. Well, I'm in my 40s.
Exactly.
People tell me, it's perimenopause. I'm like, I don't accept that.
I don't accept that. And there's so many experts in
Yeah.
SHIELD that are saying menopause is your third version of you, more powerful, wiser than ever.
Yeah.
And you should be enjoying the fruits of your labor at that stage.
Right.
That's not going down, that's going up.
Right.
So we need to all understand that and really enjoy that stage of our lives and feel powerful. But the Danielle documentary is going to change everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I seriously was like, we can go on for a really long time.
I know.
I don't know how you do it with kids. I'm going to ask you one last question for any the moms that are listening. How do you do all this with your kids? And I get you're pursuing your passion, and and when you're pursuing your passion, it's almost like you're bringing the kids with you. This is your life. You're creating your story. Do you homeschool your kids?
Yes.
Is it just kind of they're always with you? How does this work?
Yeah.
Do you need space from your kids at times?
You know what? So I say number one is my husband, is my rock. He's so supportive, and I'm supportive of him, and we're in it together, right? So that is instrumental. I can't even imagine doing half of the things that I'm doing if I didn't have a supportive husband and if we weren't a team together.
Right.
So that's A. B, yes, I homeschool now. After trying out 5 different school philosophies, we opted out for homeschooling.
Do you actually teach your children, or do you have
No, I have tutors that
Okay.
I hand selected. I have 2 tutors. One teaches them the language, science, and social. One teaches them the math. It's just 4 subjects.
Yeah.
And I do it with FLVS. Everybody's asking, what's your secret?
Yeah,
Honestly, here we go. It's FLVS, Florida Virtual School, and I do the Flex program, so I don't even have to show up for Zoom.
Yeah.
So I have my teachers. What I do is, again, organization. I have my chart, and I have teachers come and go, and I have, let's say, a video editing teacher, and I have the pickleball coach that comes and goes, and my mother-in-law is home. That's another thing. Like, my support is my mother-in-law that's constantly home, so I can come to this podcast,
Right.
and I know my mother-in-law is going to watch.
the kids.
So that's very important. And then the teachers, they know their schedule. I give it to them for the month. They come, go, whatever.
So it's Florida online virtual, but then you have tutors help them.
Exactly.
I had my daughter on Florida online virtual last year.
Yeah.
She did actually half and half, like hybrid.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to continue doing just virtual? But she's in high school now, so she wanted to experience the friend thing. But I didn't realize and I told my husband, I'm like, that's the way to go, because it was hard for her. The online thing was hard, and I'm like, she needs tutors to come help her with it.
Especially tutors that specialize in the program and how to submit and how to do all of that. So I don't do any of that. When I first started homeschooling, I was submitting.
Yeah, I know.
Out,
yeah,
I was like, I can.
I was doing the same for my daughter.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to hear your story, and I want all the women listening, I want you to know, you can write your story to whatever it is. You don't have to choose. And if you feel like there's a piece of you that's not dying, but you just feel like there's something missing, it's because I believe everybody has a purpose in this world. We're supposed to impact, even if we don't know what it is. Sometimes it's like you came onto biohacking because you didn't accept that your son had these issues, and I'm sure at the time you had no idea how big this would get, right?
No idea.
You had no idea. You're doing.
I mean, we're like the go-to. We're #1 media now for longevity.
Right.
We are Biohack Yourself Media with 17 journalists.
Right.
I mean, we're getting pulled into all kinds of events. We're going to Saudi to cover Global Health Summit. For biohacking.
Right.
And so they want us to be their official media partner.
That's
so
crazy.
We're now the e-news/ESPN news. I had no idea this would get this big. But of course, when we architect something with my husband, we know the end goal. So we did everything, pre-planned and organized and strategized. But yes, when I was suffering with Legend, those sleepless nights and the answers that didn't please me, the answers that were confusing and really felt drowning me, because how do I have a child that is ill. Like, this is going to ruin his life.
Right.
And I'm not going to do this. And I'm not going to take this for an answer. There is a solution.
Right.
I've seen fully autistic children reverse autism through biohacking, through V-cell therapies, and all of these next level things, that it's possible. In any condition that you are, you can reverse what you're going through.
I have a mom-to-mom question for you then.
Yeah.
My little Isla, she is very smart, but one of the things, and I don't even know if it's like I need to take her to, I feel like she will go from like 0 to 100. Like, she'll be like so sweet, and then something snaps and she's like, ah, and I'm like, that cannot, like, none of my other kids are like that. And I'm like, traditional medicine is like, oh, well, she has ADHD or she has this. And I'm like, she's 6, you know, she's a 6-year-old, but I'm like, I got to go down the route for her to figure out there's something in her that like gets riled up, and all of a sudden, you know.
See, your gut is already saying that's not normal.
And I'm like, I'm not going to give her, I'm not medicating her. She just is she's got a lot of energy, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm telling you, if you do testing, she may be full of parasites. You don't know. She could be, actually, and I think you should do the test. And
can kids do the testing? We're on the 10X like vitamins, but I wonder, can kids do those?
Yes. I mean, the methylation issue was what our issue was. And once I started supplementing his methylation, like giving him the methylated Bs, he became so much more alert and well, because he was missing the whole vitamin B section in his body. He wasn't receiving those. So I think, you would benefit from parasite testing first, then cleansing. She will calm down dramatically. Of course, detoxing. I can connect you to the homeopath, the herbal supplements. She actually comes to Florida quite often. She's in New York, but comes and goes. So that can detox her from anything, from heavy metals. She could also have gotten a load from you, and you're like, I didn't do anything to this child. Like, why is she acting this way, right? But your load goes into your child. So you don't know at the time of pregnancy how heavy you were on metals or glyphosates or parasites. She could have contracted those from you. If you see something is not right, it's not right.
And you don't need to accept it.
You don't need to accept it. You can look for answers, look for 5 answers, and always functional medicine. You'll find answers.
I love it. Well, where can people find you?
So at Biohack Yourself Media, that's our media company. We get about 30 million views quarterly there. Like, people are searching. People come to us because we validate everything. We publish new studies now. We publish dental studies, dental journals. We publish everything that's going on in the White House and FDA and CDC and everything like that. Personally, I'm Teresa Lolly, Tereza Lolli, Lolli, and that's where we post about all of the documentaries, the meaningful work. My husband is Anthony Lolli. For all the husbands that are watching, they can relate to him. But and definitely find us on Barnes & Noble shelves or all the retail shelves, Biohack Yourself, the magazine itself.
Well, I just want to thank you and your husband for the work that you guys are doing, because I genuinely believe that in the world we live today, people need to know this, and it will save lives. And you guys are already proving it, and we're bringing out the experts in this. And so I just want to say thank you for what you guys are doing, and it's an honor to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to go to your event next year. I'm like, you guys
at the
are
Cannes
doing
Film Festival. We're premiering Shield.
It's amazing. So
I'd love to have
you guys check her out on Instagram. Check out everything they're doing. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing this, or you don't have to accept that as truth for you. And research and education is honestly the way out. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. And I ask one favor, if you're listening to this, if you have a friend that you think needs to hear this, share it. So thank you so much for being here once again, and we'll see you on another episode of the Danielle K. White Show.